to another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start the show by being transparent. And yesterday, I took a step backwards. The over that I made for the best bet landed as a push for myself. I know some people lost, but Vino, he did have the right side of that. He had the Cavs side only, so got to give him credit. And the under, I had the under in the Mavs and Thunder game, and that just turned out to be a really bad play because they were playing up tempo, and I didn't think the role players would play that well for the Mavs until they went back home, but they were stepping up last night, PJ Washington specifically. So 0 and 1, 0 1 and 1, however you want to look at it, and try to get back on track today. Vino, I know you had the Cavs team total over as a winner. How was yesterday for you?
Yeah, that was it, Skee. That was the play. Went 1-0 yesterday, now 14-2 month of May. So NBA keeps rolling on since April 1st, up 43 units. Been really good. I know the Cavs was kind of unconventional yesterday, but boy, it did look like an exact replica of that Miami game too. Same thing. Boston's right there at halftime, fall apart second half. It's funny, Skee, that team gets, I don't want to use lazy, but they get complacent. It's too easy for them in the East. There's just not enough competition there. And, they have those games. I wouldn't be surprised if they bounce back and win 2 in Cleveland, but that one last night could almost see it coming.
Yep. And they were talking about the Celtics pretty hard on TV as far as they're not living up to how good they were all season, and thinking that they're vulnerable. Do you agree?
I don't think they're vulnerable, Skee. I just think, like I said, at least my opinion of them is they have one of these. And they had it against Miami, same thing, and then it woke them up. It's almost like you need to hit Boston over the head with a hammer to wake them up and let them know, hey, listen, we're supposed to win these games. It just, when you're winning every game by 20, I think they won 3 in a row by 20 or more. It's, it's human nature, I guess, to just think you're going to roll the balls out and destroy somebody. And Cleveland wasn't having any of it. I mean, give them credit. They came with that down 0-1 mentality that we want to get a split here. They have it. Now let's see if they can go home and do some more about it. I'm not so sure they can, but I know this morning especially, there's been a lot of criticism of Jason Tatum. We'll see how that goes. I know your feeling of Jason Tatum in these playoffs. He still is very, very unproven.
Yeah, he needs to show up. I mean, this is the time that, you waiting for, you asking for, you talking about. We want to see you looking like Jalen Brunson and Anthony Edwards and guys like that. That's what we want from Jason Tatum. And I don't think we've been getting it, even though they've won a majority of their games. So, Vino, we gotta make a decision here. I don't know that the spreadsheet ever had North Carolina blue on there. Is it North Carolina blue? Is that an option?
I mean, if we make it up on the fly, I guess we could, but we do have it listed on the list, which I know you've posted multiple times, as light blue / sky blue. Nowhere on there do we have Carolina blue. I mean, I guess if for purposes of today's contest, getting a winner, we want to call it that, we could. Maybe
so we're being nice guys, huh?
Yeah, we'd have to be nice guys. It depends. I mean, to our credit, we've said 100 times, just go check the list. Don't put up brown because brown's not on the list. Don't put up purple because purple's not on the list. There it is.
He's saying sky blue is what it is. That's what he's saying. I don't know if I saw a guess for sky blue in the chat, but he's just saying that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
The only guess I saw that was close was North Carolina blue. So it just depends how strict we got to be on here today.
Yeah, we got to have you play by the rules here. I mean, I think we have to be. I think we have to be strict and let it roll over.
Okay, so then it'll roll over to next week, and
let's roll it over because we're on during the playoffs. We've been on like 3 times a week together, so you're going to get your chances for sure. But again, We'll post it one more time if you need us to, but it's there.
Look. Jamrock Kick says Carolina blue is sky blue.
Yeah, they don't consider themselves sky blue. Carolina blue, they think that's their own color.
And then the guy who said Carolina blue.
Is he mad? Oh, no.
He's been winning, though. He's won a few times already.
Okay.
So it's not like, it's his first time. And Mark says, got to keep the colors sharp.
Yeah, we're not trying to be hard around here. It's just, the list is the list. That's all I can say. That's what we have to say from now on. The list is the list.
Yeah, but that's it. If it's not on the list, it's not correct. That's how it will be. So I'll post the list another time on the member section. How about that? And you guys know when we double it up, it goes to a member. So you'll be on, I think, Wednesday, Vino.
We get them back Wednesday. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Let's get on to today's action. We got 2 games to talk about, and I'm interested in both of them. This first game is Knicks at the Pacers now. Opened up 5.5-point favorites. They're 7.5-point favorites pretty much everywhere. Total has come down as low as 222 from 225.5. You do have Anunoby. Okay, let me refresh here. Anunoby's out. Brunson, we know he's banged up in his hand, his foot, everything. But he still, he was banged up and looked pretty damn good in that second half. So, combination of those things. Hallie is still on the injury report. We have to think that the Pacers role players and hopefully Halliburton plays better at home, right?
Yeah, if he can give us what he gave us in game 2, which was exceptional, right? They don't win, but I think he had 33 and double-digit assists. So that was more like what we expect out of Tyrese Halliburton. And they certainly do have multiple role players. I think the best of the group that we've seen so far, obviously TJ McConnell's been at the head of the class, right, as far as bench players are concerned for Indiana. And Isaiah Jackson played some really, really good minutes energy-wise down low for them, which they can always use. So you would expect that. Skee coming back home. I'll just get into it here because I did this game for Wagertalk NBA tip-off this morning. And the conclusion I came to, there's multiple ways to play this game, but the one I think I like the best at the end of a lot of thinking and handicapping is the Indiana side. And I know the number is crazy, right? The Knicks were 4.5, 5 at home. And now you're looking at 7.5 on the road. It's a 12-point swing, basically 12.5-point swing, which seems like a lot. But a lot of times in these playoff games, especially situational games like this one is, down 0-2 coming home, it's just pick the winner and leave the spread. Forget about the spread. Just play the winner. It's kind of the way I feel about this one. Last night we were unconventional, took Cleveland, a side that really nobody wanted. Today we'll be more conventional and take the Pacers. Again, I think you have the 0-2 motivation coming back home. That's usually enough to get you to at least look at the home side. Down 0-2 coming back home. You would look that way first. But I think even more motivation gets added here for Indiana, the way they lost the first 2 games. File 78 complaints to the NBA in 2 games worth of fouls. They feel a little bit resentful for sure. And I think they take out their aggression here first game home. It's a little added motivation for Rick Carlisle and his team. And I also think Skee, and this is one of those exterior handicapping angles, but if you're Indiana, and last night you see both home teams get beat straight up, I think, again, as a head coach, you point that out to your team. Hey, listen, let's not be like what Boston was last night, come out lethargic at home. Let's not be what Oklahoma City was last night, a 7-point favorite or whatever they were, 5-point favorite, and allow the other team to dictate to us. We want to go out and dictate. I think Indiana's got a ton of motivation here. Obviously, the shorthanded stuff we've talked about. Let's point out that there was a stretch during this season, Skee, where both OG Anunoby and Mitchell Robinson were out at the same time. And the Knicks were a horrible defensive team. Went on a string of overs at that point in time. And they haven't been so great defensively. You remember? They haven't been great defensively in this series so far. Now you're without both of those guys. And it probably comes back to haunt them here against this style of team. I don't think the Knicks have been particularly good in trying to play their brand of offense, which is, slower pace. They're just not able to push that on Indiana. Indiana's been able to impose their will, so to speak, on the Knicks. These games are high scoring. And the Knicks have shot crazy good at home in this series. 2 games. How about 55.4% from the field, 47.2 from 3? Can you do the same on the road in this environment tonight? I'm not sure, especially if Brunson is a little bit banged up. But from the Indiana perspective, you shot extremely well on the road. I would expect that to continue and maybe be even better tonight. Last thing I'll say here when I went through this whole handicap was that Pascal Siakam has had 19 and 14 points in 2 games. And now he's not defended by OG Anunoby anymore. Ex-teammate, a guy who knows all his tendencies. And that could be a little bit of the reason why Siakam's numbers were down. But he's not there anymore to guard him. I think Siakam probably plays big tonight. Like I say, Knicks defense has been poor. Let's put it that way. Poor the first 2 games. Indiana's shooting 52%, averaging 119 a game. I think 7.5, when you have a team that can score this many points in this situation, is okay. And I know the other side of the fence is, you've said it plenty of times, Rob, I can't trust a team that can't play any defense, that can't get stops to lay 7.5. So I can understand that side, but I'm going to choose to give that side a shot here tonight, Indiana minus the points.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it here today. I mean, we could see Brunson not play. I don't think that's too far out. And Pacers are absolutely the desperate team. I feel like they've been able to cover some of these big point spreads. I agree with everything you said as far as the Pacers being able to score better at home than on the road. And the 2 games on the road, they've already passed their team total for today, which is 115. So I looked at some of the games where they're a home favorite, like one of the bigger home favorites for them. I'll say 6, 5, 7 points like that or more. And they were scoring in the mid 120s. And you look at their home playoff games so far this season, 3 versus Milwaukee, they scored 120 plus in all of those. I think Indiana, even when they blew out the Bucks, it was 120 to 98. I think 115 for the team total is the way I prefer to go. And also, there was questions in the chat. There was a question earlier about, here it is, JB, thoughts on Pacers series plus 2.5. I think you're late. I did bet it minus 140. He says, there you go, saying it's pretty juiced to minus 170 though. I mean, I think you're a little late to that plus 2.5. Thoughts on that, Vino?
Yeah, and I think that they gave us time to get in on it too, right? Because I think yesterday at this time when we were doing the show, it was still 145. They gave us time. And
Right.
then
That's when I
finally
took
the market got to it finally. They're like, okay, we're going to go ahead and hit this a little more. So maybe a little late to the party, but still plus 2.5. I think you and I both feel like this thing doesn't end in 5. So probably still win. Just lay an extra juice now.
Yeah, still, I just don't like and then Brian says it's minus 200 on his book, which is absolutely a little bit too much. So I guess at this point, Pacers team total over is the way I recommend. We'll move it over to the next game, and that is Nuggets and T-Wolves. It feels like forever since they last played, but T-Wolves opened as a 4-point favorite. Consensus right now is 3.5. Total looks like a consensus of 205. And you have Murray, Reggie Jackson, and KCP all game time decision. Well, we know Murray's calf has been bothering him. He's had time to rest a little bit now. Reggie Jackson, he got hurt in that last game. And KCP, it's not good to see him banged up. I mean, the Nuggets looked like they were frustrated. They looked like they're ready to just give up. Do you think the break, gives them a chance to work on things and punch back here? Or is Minnesota just too much, Rob?
Yeah, the question would be, you're right, Skee, will Denver show us what Dallas showed us last night in OKC? Or will Minnesota show us what they showed us when they were up 2-0 and went to Phoenix and just continued to buzzsaw Phoenix. I mean, the road didn't even matter to Minnesota. In this case, they get to be at home up 2-0. So, I mean, it's a conclusion you have to come to on your own. I know a lot of people I talked to yesterday think Denver can bounce back. I'm not necessarily so sure. There's probably just as many in the camp that say Minnesota's got this thing locked up already. But let's get to a couple of interesting things out of Michael Malone. And you and I talked about this yesterday off air after the show was over. Who would initiate offense for Denver, right? We had a little discussion with Reggie Jackson being hurt. We were thinking maybe their point guard shy. Well, according to Michael Malone, his quote exactly, I encourage Jokic to take more control of this offense. And I think that's the name that came up when you and I were talking. We even talked about maybe Aaron Gordon bringing the ball up. But it looks like a Jokic game. I think, and you can give me your feeling on this too, I don't think that Rudy Gobert and Karl Anthony Towns, I don't think those are the kinds of guys that bother Jokic offensively. I think we saw him bothered a lot by Naz Reid, a guy that's a lot more active. You know, those big guys don't like when they have energy guys guarding them. And that's why Jokic looked a little frustrated all the time, much like the way Luka looked in the first game against Oklahoma City, but he found a way out of it. You know, Skee, I tried 100 ways to push myself to bet Denver's team total over 100.5 and just see if I could come up with a reason why they would get to 101. I can't do it with any confidence. I can make a couple of weak cases for it, but I can't do it with any confidence. And I think that if you're Denver, the only way, and we heard Dallas players say it last night, and maybe even head coach Jason Kidd, the adjustment they made last night was that offense was not stagnant. They decided to push tempo. Even though OKC likes to run, Dallas knew coming back and setting up against their half-court defense wasn't going to work. And they have 35, 37 in the first quarter, a lot more open floor. Luka's three-pointers weren't really contested. They were in space. And I feel like Denver's going to have to run. We've heard Michael Malone say over the past 3 years more than once that he likes it when his team runs. I know Minnesota's the quicker team. I know they're the more athletic team, but I don't think Denver can play them in a half-court setting. They're not the tougher team anymore. We used to be able to say that about Denver, but I don't know that they're the tougher team. So for me, it's hard. Yesterday, I think I was leaning toward under. Today, I'm a little more undecided. Yesterday, I think I was leaning strongly toward Minnesota. If I had to play Skee, I think the way I would play is Timberwolves full game. They're laying 3.5 right now, but I haven't bet that game. It's a tough one for me, but I think Minnesota full game would be the way I'd look.
Well, let me ask you this. You said you were leaning towards the under yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen 2 games from these teams already. First game, both teams shot 42% from 3. I think that same first game, the Nuggets had 20 free throws, and that game barely ended at 205. And we saw some regression in game 2. That total ended at 186. So, I mean, at their best, I feel like they reached 205. Like, what's going to change? Are you scared of them playing faster? Because I don't think either team is going to play with pace in this game.
And there's going to be the slight difference. Here's the comparison I used and kind of what got me off. And it doesn't mean it has to get everybody off of that under if they want to play it. But when Minnesota played Phoenix, the first 2 games, they were in Minnesota, which tonight's is. And maybe Minnesota's more energized at home. But Phoenix scored 95 and 93 and looked like they could never score against this team at all. They went back to Phoenix and got to 116 and 109, and those game totals landed 235 and 238. Phoenix played a little bit more free and open. Minnesota didn't seem to be bothered by it, and the games got really high scoring. Now, granted, those were on Phoenix's home floor, and these are not on Denver's home floor. But the fact that those games reached mid-230s just kind of scared me off thinking, well, if Denver decides to run, maybe Minnesota just goes with them and the game gets higher scoring. 205 is not a ridiculously high number to get up and over. And so I was conflicted. Fundamentals tell me I should be playing under here, but that series against Phoenix, and Phoenix is not the same team as Denver. I know, but Phoenix in that series had limited scoring options, really just Booker and Durant because Grayson Allen was hurt. Bradley Beal was non-existent, and Denver's got more than enough scoring options in that starting lineup. So again, that's what scared me off, Skee. The results, the game 3 and 4 of the Phoenix series, the way it just changed scoring wise, is what got me off of it here.
Well, I don't think that bothers me too much, just because all year long, Timberwolves are better defensively at home than they were on the road. I think it was somewhere between an 8 to 10 point or 8+ point
Right.
difference they give up as far as venue. And Denver, I mean, it's not only the Timberwolves that play good defense. Denver is capable of playing really good defense too. So I look at that, and the way I'm looking at it, if both point guards are banged up, there's not a whole lot of pace that they're going to be playing with. Um, everything's going to be deliberate, trying to just get a good shot. That's my thought.
And you wonder, Skee, to your point, real quick about the point guards, which we talked about yesterday, you and I. The fact that Malone comes out and says, I'm encouraging Jokic to initiate more of the offense or take more control of the offense almost tells you that he knows his point guard situation isn't very good at this point in time.
Right. So yeah, I think that'll be lower scoring game in my opinion. And somebody asked me, I think it was Daniel in the chat. He says, question, if you like Denver, would you take them now, or you think we get a better line later today? Well, the line is going to move based on who's available. And I would imagine everybody's playing today for Denver. How healthy they'll be, I don't know. So if you like them, I would take them now. Do you agree, Rob, or you disagree?
I would say take them now because we've seen some movement towards Denver already. It's gone from 4 down to 3.5 in a lot of places. And so it looks like Denver money, the so-called desperate team money, is showing up right now. So I think if you like Denver, it's not going to get much better. It's only going to, I mean, I don't know that it'll go to 3, but I don't think it'll get much better than what you're going to get right now. Shop for 4s because they're still available. And I think be happy with that.
All right, there you go. So on that note, good job on those 2 games. We'll move it on over to best bets. And I'll ask you, Rob, if there's anything you would like to promote, and also maybe a play you'd like to share for the people to get paid on the show.
All right. Well, let's start with the promotion. Wagertalk.com. It's where you can find all my work, as Skee says every day. It's in the description and link on YouTube, so you can find my homepage there. If you're not currently a member at Wagertalk.com, go on over to the website, put in your email address, get free instant access to all the video content they provide each and every day, all the written content they provide each and every day. It's a roster full of 28 to 32 handicappers. I lose track of the number, but it's in that vicinity. Shows on every sport. If you're betting things other than NBA, if you're betting NHL playoffs, if you're betting MLB, if you're betting the United Football League, whatever you're betting, there's shows for it over there. Wagertalk.com. You get it all for free by just dropping your email address. If you're interested in selection packages, I don't like to do this, but I will reiterate the fact, because it's been a good run, that now could be a real good time to get on board. There's a special going on over there. You can get 11 days for the price of 7. Again, my selection package is always available over there on my homepage, wagertalk.com. Let's get to today's best bet. And what I'll do is give you the one I bet. It's what we like to do here. If we have money on it, we'll recommend it to you guys. If we don't have money on it, we try not to recommend those things as show plays. I'm going to be on Indiana. I'm on Indiana tonight. I got a better number. I got 7. It went up to 7.5 early or late this morning. I still think 7.5 is doable here for the Pacers. Gave you all the reasons why. Last thing I'll say about that is, one of the arguments I hear about this game is, well, the Knicks will just slow it down because they're shorthanded. But again, I'll say that Milwaukee tried that theory. They didn't have Giannis. They didn't have Dame for a game, and they tried to be slow. And it just doesn't work with Indiana. They're kind of like a college team where they're just going to run off of a made basket or whatever. That's their style. It's what they do. I think we've seen the Knicks can't put up much resistance to it. So if that's the case, I like Indiana. I'll lay 7.5 with the Pacers tonight.
And we'll stay on theme. We'll my bad. We'll stay on theme with how we've been going. I like everything that Rob said, and I'll just add that. I mean, a lot of rim protection gone, a lot of defense gone. I mean, no OG. He's the one person who can really stop Siakam. I mean, I feel like Siakam can really go off in this game now too. So Pacers have already cleared this number both times on the road. I don't see why they can't do it here at home. Pacers team total over 115 will be my best bet for the show. My bad. I'm blanking out a little bit here. I'm trying to get my next guest on, but Rob, I appreciate you taking the time to come on like you always do. Anything else you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, let me just say, we weren't trying to be hard with the shirt color today, but we're going to stick to the list is the list. We'll get it to you again Wednesday. We'll double up for you. Thanks to the chat, like you always say, Skee. Best chat in the game. Love being here. Love what they bring to the table. Good luck to everybody this weekend, and I'll get with you next week. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, Rob Vino. And let me just hang out with y'all for a second. There was a comment I wanted to get to here. Logan says, just found this community/channel/great information locked in. And I appreciate that. It is a good community. It's a lot of great handicappers in here. We all, all of us versus the bookie. And if you're interested in the member section, the I forget what it is now, tier 2 or whatever it says, but we have a Discord and it's people in there working all day long. Just imagine a chat how it is right now, but just like all day. So I think that's something I don't say enough. A lot of great work being done in the Discord by the sharp cappers here. I'll share some of the best bets from the chat because a lot of these people, y'all know how we've been doing it, even though I've changed it up a little bit lately. But Brian likes Siakam over 20.5 points. Bitchy likes topping over points and assists. Mike R likes the Nuggets on an alt spread, -3.5. Football coach going Denver money line, Pacers team total over. KC likes Jokic PRA. RH is okay. He's laddering up the team total to 119.5 with Indy. I like to see that. See if I can answer this question really quick. I don't think we'll get another guest, so it'll just be what it is. Says you rather bet full game under or Denver team total under 101.5. If Denver's banged up and going on the road, maybe better Denver team total under. I still trust them to show up defensively too. And I just don't want to count them out as the champs. So I would prefer the full game. That's just how I view it. Appreciate you, Brian. What are you talking about, Mike R? He says, I'm gonna go check the website. Skee one of the worst, bro. Leave. Oh, he just messing with me here. Peasy likes the Wolves. There goes wait. There goes Dante. He says, we working. I see y'all working. Sean Evans says it too. Stay working. I see y'all in the Discord even when I'm not in there. Pretentious Prodigy. Appreciate you reminding everybody to hit the like button. Like I always say, I appreciate everybody in the chat. A lot of great cappers. We have a good time here. So best of luck if you tell. Good luck everybody on all your action. And catch you guys again next week.